Good morning, students. The topic for my today's session is testing of hypothesis. So, before going to this topic, this testing of hypothesis is nothing but a part of statistical inference. So, first we should know what is statistical inference. See, as per the English meaning, statistical and inference. Inference is nothing but conclusion. Conclusions which we are drawing based on the statistical analysis. Okay, that is what is statistical inference. So it is nothing but a procedure where inference about the population is made on the basis of the results obtained from the sample drawn from that population. That means you're drawing conclusion about a population on the basis of the analysis you have conducted on a sample, and this sample is drawn from that same population. That is known as statistical inference. Now this statistical inference is achieved by two methods. One is hypothesis testing, another one is estimation. So in this session, we'll be concentrating on this hypothesis testing. You know, what is hypothesis testing? Or what is the purpose of this hypothesis testing? So the main aim of this hypothesis testing is to help in making decision regarding the population by examining the sample from that population. So whatever we want to decide about a population based on the sample, that is the main aim of this hypothesis testing. So here I've used this words population, sample, hypothesis. So what are all these terms mean statistically? So first we'll get acquainted with this all terminologies. Then we'll go in detail about this hypothesis testing. So main first definition you should know is what is population. We have heard this term many times, population. Now what is this population? In simple language, it is a group of individuals. Statistically, it is a group of individuals under study, is called as a population or universe. Then what is a sample? Sample is what, suppose we want to find the quality of say rice in a bag. What we do we check each and every grain of that grain of the rice in the bag? It will take a lot of time. What we'll do, we just take a handful of that rice from the bag and check whether this rice is of good quality or not. So based on that handful of rice, we conclude whether the whole bag is of good quality or not. So sample is nothing but a part of the population. What we have taken handful, that is called a sample, and the whole bag of rice is known as population. So here sample is nothing but a finite subset of population is called as a sample. So what is sample size? Sample size is nothing but the number of observations in a sample is called the sample size. Then what is random sampling? This randomly I am selecting a sample. Randomly I have taken a handful of rice. I have not selected this grain, that grain, like that. I have randomly selected. That means what? A random sample means each and every unit of the population has an equal chance of being included in the sample. So a random sample is nothing but each and every unit of the population has an equal chance of being selected in the sample. That is called as a random sample. Now we know population and we know sample. Now what is parameter and statistic? What is parameter? See, when you are calculating mean, suppose I have a population of 100 units, 100 observations. And I'm calculating mean of those 100 observations, variance of those 100 observations, or standard deviation of those 100 observations, then that is known as a parameter. That is, the constants of population are called as parameters. What are these constants? I told you just now. Mean of 100 observations, variance of the observations of the population, standard deviation of the observations of the population. So mean of a population is denoted by mu. Variance of a population values is denoted by sigma square. Standard deviation of the population values is denoted by sigma. So these are called parameters. So parameters are nothing but the constants of population. Then what is statistic? Statistic is constant of a sample. That means from that 100 observations, if I'm taking only 25 observations, randomly I'm selecting 25 observations and calculating mean of those 25 observations, or variance of those 25 observations, or standard deviation of those 25 observations. So that values, that's sample mean, sample variance, sample standard deviation, those are called as statistic. So that is what is given. The constants of a sample are called as statistic. Example, x bar, which is nothing but sample mean, small s square, sample variance, small s, sample standard deviation. Next, we have sampling distribution. What do you mean by this term, sampling distribution? Sampling distribution is nothing but set of all possible values of the statistic obtained, one for each sample, constitute a sampling distribution. See, now just now I told you, I have given you an example. If I have taken 25 observations from the population, so the sample size is 25. Now I will be calculating for this sample its mean, its variance. So like that, how many ever samples you are drawing from that population, the set of all possible values of the statistic for each sample constitutes a sampling distribution. If I'm drawing 5 samples from that population, so for each sample I will have its sample mean. So for first sample I have sample mean 1, for second sample I have another sample mean, for third sample I will have another sample mean, like that. So the set of all possible values of this statistic, one for each sample, is called as a sampling distribution. Then what is standard error? This is very important part in testing of hypothesis. Important terminology we'll be using, or important concept that is useful in testing of hypothesis in large sample test, anything. So standard error is nothing but the standard deviation of a sampling distribution, or the standard deviation of a sample is known as standard error. So it plays a very important role in large sample theory and forms the basis for testing of hypothesis. So I said standard error is standard deviation of the sample mean, or statistic, sorry. Standard deviation of the sample values, or standard deviation of statistic, is known as standard error. So if I have sample mean x bar here, some of the standard errors I have given here. So standard error of x bar, suppose if I have statistic x bar, then its standard error is sigma by root n. Standard error of P is root of capital PQ by N. What is this P and what is this Q? This will be discussing in next session. These are nothing but proportions. Then the standard error of sample standard deviation S is given by root of sigma square by 2n. Similarly, standard error of sample variance S square is given as sigma by root 2n. So these are some of the standard errors of the statistic. So as I told you, the main purpose of hypothesis testing is to help in making decision concerning the population. So here, to make a decision, first you should set up a hypothesis. So that is called a statistical hypothesis. Now what is the statistical hypothesis? It is nothing but a statement about one or more population, which is concerned with the parameter of the population. So we will make a statement. If you want to test for a population, we will make a statement about the parameter of the population. Now this statistical hypothesis will have two types. One is null hypothesis, another one is alternative hypothesis. Now what is null hypothesis? Null hypothesis, it is a definite statement about the population parameter. Generally we say that it is a hypothesis of no difference. That is called as null hypothesis. According to R.A. Fisher, it is given as, he defined null hypothesis as, null hypothesis is the hypothesis which is tested for its possible rejection under the assumption that it is true. So what we do, whatever, generally in H0, under null hypothesis, we define that there is no difference. And then based on that assumption, we carry out the analysis and conclude whether to accept that hypothesis or reject that hypothesis. So this null hypothesis is denoted by H0. Next, we have alternative hypothesis. Any hypothesis which is complementary to the null hypothesis is called alternative hypothesis. This opposite of null hypothesis is alternative. We can denote it as HA or H1 also. Generally, we'll write it as H1. See, for example, if you are interested in comparing smoking rates in men and women in the population, then how will you set up the null hypothesis? So what is the study here? Comparing the smoking rates in men and women. So what will be H naught here now? Null hypothesis will be there is no difference. That means the smoking rates in men and women in the population is same. Alternative will be there is difference in the smoking rate in men and women. So that is how we have stated here. H naught is smoking rates are the same in men and women in the population. Alternative H1 is the smoking rates are different in men and women in the population. See, I told you whatever hypothesis we are making, it is whatever analysis we are doing for the hypothesis, it is based on the sample which is taken from the population. So whenever you are drawing conclusions from a sample about the population, whenever you're drawing conclusion about the population based on a sample, there will be some errors in that decision. There may be two possible errors. So in this you have two possible errors. One is type 1 error and type 2 error. Now what are these type 1 and type 2 error? Type 1 error is you are rejecting H naught, that means you are rejecting the null hypothesis even though it is true. You are rejecting the null hypothesis even though the null hypothesis is true. Then that is known as type 1 error. There you are committing an error. Even though the hypothesis which you are making is true, you are rejecting it. That means you are committing an error here. So type 1 error is rejection of the null hypothesis when it is true. And we conclude that there is an effect when in reality there is no effect. But you are telling that there is an effect. That means it's a wrong conclusion. So that is type 1 error. So this type 1 error is represented by alpha, which is also called as the level of significance. Often this alpha, we take it as 5% or 1% or 0.1% levels. This selection of 5%, 1% or 0.1% depends on the problem we are doing. So here alpha, which is defined as level of significance, is equals to probability of rejecting H naught when H naught is true. That is level of significance. Only without probability, if you are telling rejecting H naught when H naught is true, that is type 1 error. Probability of rejecting H naught when H naught is true is called as level of significance alpha. Similarly, type 2 error, accepting the null hypothesis H naught when it is false. Even though H naught is wrong, you are accepting that hypothesis. That means there is an error, and that error is called as type 2 error. So what we are concluding there is no effect when one really exists. That means what? When there is an effect on the population, we are telling that there is no effect on the population. That means there is an error which is type 2 error. Okay? So here probability of type 2 error is represented by beta. Probability of type 2 error, that is beta is equal to probability of accept H naught when H naught is false. Now the power of the study to detect an effect, to find the effect, is measured using 1 minus beta. What is this? We'll see in next slide. So this is errors in sampling, which you can represent in a table form. H naught true, H naught false, reject H naught, accept H naught, or do not reject H naught. So H naught is true, you are rejecting H naught. That means type 1 error. H naught is true, you are accepting H naught, so there is no error. Similarly, H naught is false, you are rejecting H naught. So when it is false, you are rejecting. That means there is no error. H naught is false and you are accepting H naught means there is type 2 error. So the type 1 and type 2 error you can represent in this table form also. In this way you can represent it. We decide to reject the null hypothesis. We fail to reject the null hypothesis. The null hypothesis is true. The null hypothesis is false. In this way also you can denote. Now what is this p-value? P-value is the smallest value of alpha for which H naught can be rejected. We compare the calculated value with this p-value and will decide whether to accept or reject H naught. So it gives a more precise statement about probability of rejection of H naught when it is true than the alpha level. So instead of saying the test statistic is significant or not, we'll mention the exact probability of rejecting the H0 when it is true. It measures the role in chance in finding an effect or difference in the sample studied. So I told you power of a statistical test. I have told you beta. What is beta? Beta is probability of type 2 error. What is type 2 error? Probability of accepting H0 when H0 is false. So here the power of a hypothesis test is the probability of rejecting the null hypothesis when the null hypothesis is false. So this is equals to 1 minus beta. Now what is this critical value? I told you we'll compare the calculated value. We'll set up the hypothesis, then do the analysis, then compare that value with the table value, and we accept or reject H0. So that is called as critical value. What is this critical value? This is the value of the test statistic that separates the rejection region from the acceptance region. Now what is acceptance region? A set of values of the test statistic leading to acceptance of the null hypothesis. Acceptance region is nothing but the region where we accept the null hypothesis is called as acceptance region, and rejection region is the region where we reject the null hypothesis is called as rejection region in simple language. So rejection region is a set of values of the test statistic leading to the rejection of the null hypothesis. See here, this is the curve you have. It's a normal curve. Generally, we'll take a normal curve only in testing of hypothesis or in any large sample test. So here, whenever the value is falling in this region, the value which you have calculated and it is falling in this region, then we say that we are accepting H0. Okay? That means here, whenever you are calculating the value and it is greater than 0.05, then you will accept it. If the calculated value is less than 0.05, then you reject it. This is the p-value. Okay? So these are the rejection region. This blue part are called rejection region. If your calculated value falls in this region, it means you are rejecting H0. If it falls in this middle region, means you are accepting H0. That is what is acceptance region and rejection region means. Then you have one-tailed and two-tailed test. What is this one-tailed and two-tailed test? So I told you here. If you have two rejection regions like this, then this is p by 2 and p by 2, then it is called as two-tailed test. If you have only one rejection region, you don't have this shaded part, you have only this shaded part, then it is called as one-tailed test. So if the rejection region is divided into the two tails, the test is called two-tailed test. One-tailed test, if the rejection region is only in one tail, it is called as one-tailed test. So the decision to find whether it is two-tailed test or one-tailed test depends on the nature of the problem. So if we can reject the H0 on a two-tailed test or two-sided test, it will also be significant on a one-tailed test or one-sided test. But if we are rejecting in a one-tailed test, then it is not necessary that you will reject it in a two-tailed test. But if you are rejecting in a two-tailed test, if you are rejecting H0 in a two-tailed test, then we'll also be rejecting it in one-tailed test also. But the reverse is not true. So this is the probability distribution of the test statistic. It's a two-tailed problem. That's why you have here two rejection regions. And here you have P as 0.05, alpha percent is 0.05. Now what is the process? So till now we have seen all the terminologies. What is population, what is sample, what is sample size, what is random sample, what is sampling distribution, what is standard error, then what are statistical hypotheses, what is null, what is alternative hypothesis, then what are the types of errors, then one-tailed test, two-tailed test. So all this forms the basis for this testing of hypothesis. So you have certain procedure for testing of hypothesis. So you have main 5 steps. So whenever a problem is given for testing, first you should define the null and alternative hypothesis. Then you have to collect relevant data from a sample of individuals. Then draw statistics from the samples. Statistics from the samples means you have to find the sample mean, sample proportion, sample variance. Then calculate the value of the test statistic. Test statistic is nothing but it is a formula to calculate that value. It may be for Z test, standard normal, or T test, or chi-square test. Okay? So you have to calculate this value of the test statistic specific to the null hypothesis. Based on the null hypothesis, you will have test statistic. Then after calculating this test statistic, you have to compare this test statistic with the table value. So compare the value of the test statistic to values from a known probability distribution tables. So these are called as table values. Like you have normal tables, Z tables, or T tables. Then fifth step is, after comparison, you have to interpret it. If calculated value is greater than the table value, you will reject H0. If calculated value is less than table value, then you will accept H0. So that conclusions we will be writing after this comparison. Now I told you this test statistic. Now what is this test statistic? We'll see. So test statistic, it is, I said it will be a formula. What is that formula? So it is a mathematical expression of sample values which provides a basis for testing a statistical hypothesis. So the result of this test will determine whether we will accept the null hypothesis or we reject the null hypothesis. So to calculate the test statistic, we use the data of the sample so as to make a decision regarding to accept or reject the null hypothesis. So the general formula for the statistic will be test statistic is equal to statistic minus hypothesized parameter divided by standard error of the statistic. If my statistic is a sample mean, so in place of statistic, I'll be writing X bar. And my hypothesis is about the population parameter, that is population mean. So this will be mu divided by standard error of the statistic. That means standard error of this X bar. So this formula I've already given. Standard error of X bar is sigma by root N. So my test statistic will be Z is equals to X bar minus mu by sigma by root N. So this is called as test statistic. Now using this formula, we'll calculate the value, and this value will compare with the table values that will be given to you in tables. So the test statistic is computed and compared with the table values to accept and reject the hypothesis. So that is what is decision rule. What is this decision rule? The critical values, which is nothing but tabulated values. Critical values, tabulated values means the same. So the critical values or tabulated values that discriminate between acceptance and rejection regions depending on alpha level of significance. So these table values or critical values are nothing but which discriminate between the acceptance, or which divides the acceptance and rejection region depending on the alpha level of significance. If the value of the test statistic falls in the rejection region area, then we conclude that it is statistically significant. If it falls in the acceptance region, then we conclude that it is not statistically significant, or it is statistically insignificant. Whenever we reject a null hypothesis, there is always a possibility of type 1 error. This is why we should decrease this error to the least possible. Thank you.